From CBS46, this is the College Football Kickoff, presented by Emory Healthcare. Start here.
Kickoff.
A three-man rush, throws to the end zone. Here it is. Caught. Touchdown. Tennessee win. Unbelievable. He ran right up the gut and scored. Let's go. 15-10. Carries a man across the goal line. Touchdown. Lynch. Jackets pick it up back at the 25. That's the 50. He's got Blocker. That's the 30. One man. You can't believe it. And he scores. And he scores. Touchdown to T.J. Elliott. This time it is a touchdown. Play action. Here comes the rush, and Lamb's going down back at the 40-yard line. Tyler Neal.
It's that wonderful time of year once again. College football season is here. Thanks for joining us tonight for our College Football Kickoff. I'm Fred Khalil.
And I'm Emily Gagnon. Tonight we're breaking down everything you need to know about this upcoming college football season. And here to help us, a couple of guys who know the game inside and out.
First, he's the last quarterback to lead the Georgia Bulldogs to a national championship, and you can catch him now on 680 The Fan every weekday. Buck Bellew is here with us. Hey, Buck.
Great being with you, Fred.
All right.
Also with us tonight, he led the Auburn Tigers to a 13-0 season in 2004. He was also the #2 overall pick in the 2005 NFL Draft. Pro Bowl running back Ronnie Brown.
How you doing? Great to be here.
Y'all excited to get this season going?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of fun and a lot of people with a lot of hope out there right now. Nobody's lost a game yet, though.
That's it, all right.
Right. And, you know, nothing's been on TV, so it's that time of year when people are itching for football season to get here.
Well, let's get started now with a look at the Georgia Bulldogs. This will be Kirby Smart's second year between the hedges. His first saw the Bulldogs go 8-5, finishing the year with a win over TCU in the Liberty Bowl. One plus for this year, Georgia has 17 returning starters, including 10 on defense, and the dynamic backfield duo of Nick Chubb and Sony Michel. And maybe because of that, the Dogs have been picked to finish first in the SEC East in the preseason media poll. They haven't won the East since 2012.
So the expectations are obviously as high as they've ever been at Georgia. Kirby Smart's team went 8-5 last year in his first season. In his second season, the expectations are only higher, maybe because of two great recruiting classes, possibly because of the returners. Do you guys think expectations will be met this season?
Well, they certainly need to be. This Georgia fan base can get pretty impatient. And look, second year, it was like turning around the battleship, is the way Kirby described it. And so you got to give him a little bit of time to get his people in there. But two strong recruiting classes, as you pointed out, two great recruiting classes. Maybe another couple, they should be knocking on that door every single year. But this is a year, with the schedule they have, they should have a year that pleases the fan base.
Well, I definitely have to agree. You know, I think the big part about that is, you know, the second year. Just about being comfortable, you know, not only for the quarterback position, but Kirby himself. First-time head coach. I think he was trying to learn things on the fly as well and then getting his people in. So I think this year it's a bit much smoother ship, and guys are a little bit more settled in, which I think will have a positive impact.
Well, part of the reason that expectations are so high, you have that returning 1-2 punch in the backfield, Nick Chubb and Sony Michel. They decided to come back for their senior year together after some discussion with one another. And their decision surprised a lot of people, including the head coach himself.
I remember I shot him a text to say I need to talk to him. It's kind of important. And then he texted back, like, second letter said, "Are you okay? You're freaking me out." He said, I know you want to leave, and we haven't put it out yet. But we're going to work and find a good time for you to make a leaving statement. He said, is that what it is? I said, no, it's quite the opposite. And I heard like a little silent pause. And then he said, we can talk about it later. We ended up talking about it, and just kind of told him how I felt about everything.
Yeah, I got extremely nervous because I knew that decision was imminent. And when I got that text, it was, okay, here we go. When he told me, it was very simple for me. I didn't have a lot to say. I didn't want to screw it up. So once he said he was staying, I was, thank you, and let's don't look back from here, and let's go win this bowl game. And he was a big part of that.
What does that do, guys, to have that big running back, you know, both guys back, you know, and just kind of churn it out?
Well, I think everybody knows, Fred, they're great running backs and a really tremendous duo. But, you know, I think the big thing here, Ronnie, with the team is this is the leadership that Kirby Smart didn't have in year number one. This is going to be a big senior class. These guys are leading the way. They're off the bus first. They're going to set the tone for all these young people Kirby's brought in.
Yeah, and it's great. It's one thing to have, you know, one guy, but when you have two guys of their caliber coming back, and I think that says a lot. You know, unfortunately, I was in a position like that with another guy, and you know, just being able to be there and be that leadership for that team. Obviously, Jacob Eason's coming into his second season, so I think that helps him tremendously. Takes a lot of pressure off of him, especially for an offense that needs to put up a little bit more points on the board. So I think that's a good sign for Georgia, and a lot of good things in the future for him.
And Ronnie, he just mentioned Jacob Eason. Obviously, this team will only go as far as he goes, no matter how good the run game is. Do you guys agree?
I do. You know, last year he struggled a little bit. They were inconsistent with the passing game. Their defense did a great job. They were 16th in the country in terms of keeping people off the board. The few games that they did allow 28 points or more, you know, they lost those games. But, you know, I think this offense, if they can score more, obviously that's going to keep the defense off. And sometimes your best defense is keeping your offense on the football field. And you got guys coming into their second year in Eason, and then you got these other guys coming back in the running back position. You know, I think they can be exciting, and they're going to be a team to reckon with.
What's that do, Buck, when you're a quarterback and you go from year 1 to year 2 as a starter? How much does that help?
Well, you hear this term about the game slowing down, and what that is, the quarterback, instead of reacting to what's going on, he's anticipating what's about to happen, and that's when the game slows down. Look, it's tough as a freshman, doing all you need to do to be successful and help the team. I want to see him manage the game better. RPOs, audibles at the line of scrimmage, getting out of bad plays, getting rid of the football. He's a pocket guy. Want to see him go to that check down quickly, like a Phillip Rivers type. There's room to grow, but there's a lot to be impressed with.
You know, and then Jake Fromm coming in as well. Where do you see him coming in?
Well, Fromm ready if they need him, the best I can tell. Yeah, this redshirting thing is sort of going away, folks. So I would expect if they find a situation to put Fromm in there, we might see him.
Well, you know, we talked a lot about the offense. Let's not forget about the defense. 10 starters back. Defensive coordinator Mel Tucker really believes this group can be something special this season. Let's get his thoughts.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of returning starters like we do. The expectations are going to be high, but the expectations are going to be high here at UGA every year. So it's really not about that. It's about us living up to our standard and how we want to play. Reaching our full potential.
I know we have the pieces here to be something special, so like we just can't get complacent and take care of one game at a time, and I think everything else will take care of itself.
You know, only one starter gone, and I really like their interior line. Buck, what do you think of those guys on the inside?
Well, they were puppies a year ago, and now a year later, they're all grown up. Thompson and Rochester are ready to do some damage out there. Roquan Smith at linebacker, Dominic Sanders, pretty deep secondary. I think if they can improve in the red zone, hold them to a field goal instead of allowing the touchdown, they're good enough to be in the top 15 of college football this season.
And I have to agree with you, Buck. The big thing for this defense is the red zone. I think last year they gave up 74% scoring in the red zone. So that's going to be something they're going to have to focus on, as well as, like you said, Roquan Smith. I look forward to him having a big year at linebacker. He's a great talent. I think he showed some of the things he could do last year. So to be in and do that, you know, and get a chance to play the whole season, it's going to be big for them. But the key for me is the red zone. That's going to be the key. You know, can they keep teams from scoring, and can they score? So
that's where the D-line steps in. They got to be better up front.
And, you know, this team gets a lot of shout-outs on offense, but obviously the defense might match it. All right, still to come. We've got lots more, so stick with us. But here's what's coming up.
Up next on the College Football Kickoff.
He's lowering, he's lunging. He's in. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets.
A red-hot finish to 2016 has the white and gold ready to rumble in the new year. But can Georgia Tech carry the momentum with a new quarterback behind center? Plus, from diamond to gridiron.
There's not many in the country that's going to be more impressive than this place.
We'll take you behind the scenes of the new GSU Stadium. You're watching the College Football Kickoff, presented by Emory Healthcare. Start here.
Welcome back. Fred Khalil and Emily Gagnon here alongside Buck Bellew and Ronnie Brown. Let's keep things moving now with a look at the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Tech's coming off a 9-4 season that saw the team win 6 out of their last 7 games. That includes back-to-back wins over SEC opponents Georgia and Kentucky. Get this, Georgia Tech is 5-1 against SEC opponents in their last 3 seasons. Their opener is against Tennessee at the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But they do have some serious question marks. They're losing 3-year starting quarterback Justin Thomas and their top 2 running backs from last season, Dedrick Mills and Marcus Marshall. Let's get started with the quarterback situation. It looks like Matthew Jordan is the favorite to get that spot.
Yeah, and he's paid his dues. He's waited patiently, and he's a really good running back, so he's going to fit in well with the spread option attack that Georgia Tech thrives in. I tell you, Trayvon Marshall, though, the backup quarterback, really good playmaker. Saw that in the spring. Running this offense, Ronnie, I think you're going to probably have to use both these quarterbacks.
Absolutely, and the good part about being the quarterback in this position is the offense that they run takes a lot of pressure off of him. This spread option, so you really don't know where the ball's going, and you don't have to focus too much on just the quarterback position. So he's going to be able to get some plays, make some plays with his legs, but at the same time, you know, he's going to have to get a lot of help from this offensive line. That's going to be a big key for him, especially, you know, being in this situation. And unfortunately, he loses one of his best weapons in Dedrick Mills.
But, you know, Jordan does have the experience, but he's also spent the last few years learning under Justin Thomas. So he told us he's 100% confident being the guy.
Justin was a great player, and I learned a lot from Justin. You know, he was a great role model for me to be behind, and like I said, I just learned a lot from him. I think in this offense, experience helps a lot. Like I said, I've been here for a long time, so, I mean, I've been around these guys a lot. I've practiced with them a long time, so we got a pretty good chemistry.
All right, now Matthew Jordan at quarterback. What about Kervontae Benson at B-back because they lost Dedrick Mills? What do you think there?
I think that's going to be key, but in football, the thing is next man up mentality, and I think this kid's looking for an opportunity to show that he can come in and be capable of carrying the load on this football team that has a lot of talent, and obviously he's not going to have to carry it because they also switch it up and give the balls to the wings. So, you know, and then the quarterback's going to take a lot of pressure. So this is a situation where, you know, it's prime for new guys to step in and get an opportunity to be successful because the more the merrier in this offense.
Right, Benson, a big guy, he's going to pound him in that A-gap. And Jerry Howard, a freshman that Georgia Tech thinks highly of.
They really like him.
Yeah, they should be in pretty good shape to absorb that loss.
All righty, well, you know, you look at the makeup of this team, they got lots of veterans, and coaches say there's a striking resemblance to another Georgia Tech team from a few years ago.
This team is really composed a little bit like our 14 team in that we got a new quarterback, a couple of new guys, but the majority of them have played.
One thing I've seen from that team and this team is the leadership is definitely there. So we have great leadership, and we've been working our butts off this summer.
We didn't have that good of leadership the 3-9 season. Obviously, I mean, if you don't have that, if it's not a player-led team, you're not going to be that successful. So that was the biggest difference between that season and last season. But and I think we're going to carry that over into this season, which will help us tremendously.
So what's interesting about this team is some of these guys have played on Paul Johnson's worst team and one of his best teams. Expectations entering this season after a successful year last year, how high are they?
Well, I think they're very high. You know, I think this is a situation they're familiar with. After going 3-9, they would go 9-4 last year. So having that, you know, experience of, you know, turning things around, I think you look forward to, you know, being able to build on what you did the year before. And this team, like you said, he has a lot of experience. Especially like on the offensive line. They have 9 guys who played in the game. And there are 2 things that you can't coach, and that's effort and experience. So I think that's something that kind of goes to their favor, and I look forward to seeing these guys get a chance to play and build on what they did this previous season.
Yeah, Ted Roof and that defense. I got the Swilling boys over there now, so, you know, help is going to be there real quickly with those 2 guys over there. But, you know, they need to play good defense, especially out of the gate. Tennessee with some big-time players, so they're going to have to do a good job in the season opener.
You know, when you have an offensive line, guys, you guys are both offensive guys. You kind of control the game, don't you? And that offensive line can help them win a lot of games.
Well, I think so in this offense, when you have this offensive line with this offense and, you know, being able to pair the ball and give it to anybody, that helps. Nobody knows where the ball is going, so Tennessee's going to have a tough time trying to figure out this offense, as most teams will, just for the fact that it's a different offense. Not too many people run it. You're not familiar with it on a weekly basis, so you have to go in and game plan specifically for Georgia Tech, and that's something that's going to, you know, play their favor.
Yeah, Tennessee's been busy with that, obviously, trying to get – they have not faced the option in like 10 years.
Wow.
So it's going to be a new thing for them.
We've still got more to discuss. Here's what's on deck after the break.
Coming up, the Panthers finally get a home of their own.
This is obviously the first part of this transformation.
Catch an exclusive look behind the scenes of the new GSU Stadium. And can anyone turn the tide in 2017?
He's got it. Touchdown.
Alabama. Which SEC teams could give Alabama the most trouble this season?
A live look at the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You couldn't ask for a better slate of games for the first college football weekend of the season at the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's #1 Bama versus #3 Florida State Saturday, Tech versus Tennessee on Monday. And let's not forget, January 9th, the national championship game of the college football playoff is here.
With all of the talk surrounding the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a lot of you might not have had a chance to see the redesigned GSU Stadium. The Panthers play their first game in the former Turner Field tomorrow.
They'll open the season against Tennessee State, but tonight you get to take a sneak peek. Our own Ayanna Crystal has an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the new stadium, as well as a look at how it transformed from baseball to football.
Wow, this is a really cool space. It's everything that we envisioned.
It was a 2-year process. Once the Brave season was over, Georgia State took over Turner Field in January. Construction started in March and took less than 6 months and cost $26 million. The new Georgia State Stadium is 250,000 square feet, and now the Panthers are getting ready to open their season at their new home.
We're playing football now from home plate to left field. Obviously, they've added about 2,500 seats here on the east side of the stadium with lights to frame back the football configuration. I'm excited about the video board.
The video board is the 8th largest in college football. Panther fans are in for a treat when they see Turner Field transformed into the new Georgia State Stadium.
Welcome to our locker room. This is obviously the first part of this transformation underneath for the football operations. And we're really excited about how the locker room turned out. The exciting time, the anticipation of what the season can be. But certainly for us as we build this program and have our own stadium.
My first reaction when I come in here is, this is enormous.
Yeah. And it was intentional. It's one of the benefits of the stadium. There is a lot of square footage underneath the stands.
Welcome to your home, boys.
The players were fired up to see their new home.
There's a lot of pride in the fact that this is their space and this is what they get to, their home away from home.
The locker room stretches 55 yards with 115 lockers, and the helmets are illuminated.
It's one of only 3 college football locker rooms where you could actually do a 40-yard dash inside the locker room. You've got a massive logo at the middle of the locker room to signify solidarity and signify the Panther family.
It's game time, baby. Hey, 7:30, August 31st. Be there. Be there or be square. Let's get it.
With CBS46.
Be there or be square. Well, tomorrow night is also the start of the season for the Kennesaw State Owls, who may be the most intriguing team in the area. Last year was only their 2nd year as a program, and yet they still came 1 win short of making the FCS playoffs. This season, Coach Brian Bohannon has most of his team back. He's also added a couple of transfers like Paris Bostic from Oregon, and he has a solid QB in Chandler Burks. This is easily the highest expectations the Owls have had, and their coach thinks they're ready to tackle it head on.
We're awfully excited about the upcoming season, 2017. This will be our 3rd season. So for the first time, we're going to be old enough to kind of hold our own a little bit and have a little more depth. So we're excited about it. We got some recognition at the Big South Conference Media Day, which we're excited about. But as I told our guys, preseason polls are preseason polls. We've had the vision to win a championship since we started the program. Our kids understand that. So no expectation is going to put a damper on what our kids are trying to accomplish.
Again, game 1 is tomorrow night, and it's against Samford. KSU's first home game is 1 week away. It's on Saturday against Tennessee Tech.
We're back here with Buck Bellew and Ronnie Brown. Let's move on to the SEC. The media picking Georgia to win the East, but I know some folks are picking Florida. CBS Sports has Georgia ahead of Florida in a close race. In the West, it's unanimous with Alabama, but I heard there might be one outstanding person that might pick another team.
Yeah, I'm going to be that guy to go out and walk the plank. I think Auburn has a lot of talent. Last year, I felt that they were only a quarterback away from making a lot of noise. Had a great defense. So I'm looking for them to do some big things. They have this kid, Jarrett Stidham, that they named starting quarterback, and I look for a big season from him.
Buck, what do you think there with the way the media is picking the SEC East?
Well, I think Florida obviously has won the East 2 years in a row, and they've just been in need of a big play quarterback. Maybe Malik Zaire can come in there and give them some of those big plays they've been looking for. I hope not. But over in the West, that Alabama, they're just reloading again, man. They got players all across the board.
Any surprises this season, you guys think, from maybe an underdog?
I think a big team is going to be LSU. A big game is going to be Alabama, LSU, and then Auburn going down to LSU and playing in Tigers Den. You know, it's a tough place to play, and they always put a good team out. And I think Orgeron's building on something after winning a bowl game. I think they're going to be a pretty good football team.
Buck?
I think it's going to be one of those years where the favorites are going to be there in the end. I sort of doubt LSU's offense, though. We'll talk about it at some other time.
All right. Stay with us, guys. We'll come right back. We're going to get some playoff prediction from these two in just a bit. Now to the best part of the show, we get predictions from Buck Bellew and Ronnie Brown. First, I want to know, who are your last 4 teams standing that are going to be in the playoffs?
For me, my last 4 are obviously Auburn, because I can't pick Alabama if I have Auburn beating Alabama in the Iron Bowl. I have Florida State, great team, great talent, Ohio State, and then USC with Sam Darnold leading the way.
Buck?
Emily, Fred, I got Georgia going all the way. No. Alabama, I can't wait to see Jalen Hurts and see what he's got cooking this year. But I do believe Florida State, either way, win or lose that opening game, both those teams will make it to the Final Four. Ohio State out of the Big Ten, and I've got Oklahoma out of the Big 12.
Wow. All right.
And the last man standing?
Who's going to win?
Auburn.
Okay.
Undoubtedly. Like, just one of those years. Got a lot of talent. Looking for a rebound. I'm looking for us to make some big noise, or Auburn to make some big noise.
Saban and Tide get another one.
Wow.
So at least they're keeping it in the SEC.
Sorry, Ron.
Yeah.
That won't happen.
That will wrap up our college football preview. We'll see you all season long here on CBS46 SEC Wrap-Up Show Saturday, right after the SEC Game of the Week.